We acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we record this podcast.
Always was, always will be Aboriginal land.
Hello, Green Beans. Welcome back to the Green Girls podcast, and hello to the lovely Mikaela.
Hello.
Today's episode is a little bit random, a little bit on the spot, but I've really wanted to cover it for a while, so screw it. We're going to do it anyway. We're going to do it live. And this is all about work, sustainability at work, being more eco-friendly at work, and basically we're going to talk about our own workplaces. I've got a little bit of stuff from one of my friends and her workplace, and since we've both got side hustles on the go, we're going to talk about what we're doing to make them a bit more eco-friendly as well. Now, Mikaela, your day job is naturally a bit more eco-friendly than mine, so let's start there.
I guess you could think so, and I guess the end product, yes, is good.
Very true, very
I should just clarify that I'm an apprentice electrician. Sounds so friggin' weird to say. Sparky apprentice? I don't know. Anyway, we work with air conditioning and solar. So a lot of the time, yes, air conditioners are a more sustainable choice. It's electric. It's better than gas. They're cheaper to run these newer units. And solar, of course, is great. But there can also be a bit of waste involved. And I'm happy to say that since I started, what is it? It's like, I think I started in 2021. I don't even know.
Oh, wow. 2 years then.
Yeah, I think it's been 2 years. But we have had some improvements. So the main thing that really used to grind my gears was the amount of waste from products. So obviously we get the aircon, we install it, but the aircon comes in our arch nemesis, styrofoam.
Oh, don't mention it.
Styrofoam, soft plastic, and I don't know what you would call it. I guess it's essentially plastic ties that go around the outside of the box. So it holds it all together.
Not quite a zip tie, but
not a zip tie.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, that like heavy duty plastic tie.
Yeah.
So when
that would really hurt if you like whip someone with it.
Absolutely.
Just
yes. Sometimes if you cut it and it goes like ting.
Oh no.
It can hurt. So be sensible. But yeah, so we used to have this, I don't know how in-depth you want to hear about this, but you know, we can cut it down.
We'll cut it up.
An indoor unit and an outdoor unit, and the indoor units come in like a rectangle box, and we used to just fill that with the rubbish from the day. So that would pretty much be everything. And then once that built up, we would go and take all of those boxes to the tip. So it's all commingled, like there's cardboard in there, there's styrofoam, there's cable scraps, you know, food scraps, whatever.
Right, all going straight to landfill.
All going to landfill. And I used to always like take the paper parts out. Like, you know, stuff comes with installation manuals, which we don't need. I take it away and I put it in the recycling bin. Like the little things. It's the little things that count. But now we have a very good system. So we actually have a local place that takes the styrofoam. So we collect all of that until it's like a big pile and drop it off there, and they recycle it, which is awesome. So
that's brilliant.
Very exciting, because it used to be like, I used to feel so bad. But, you know, there's only so much you can do sometimes. There wasn't anyone available to do that. So that's awesome.
Yeah. Yes.
We obviously recycle all our cardboard. Yay. And we also recycle scrap cable. So say, for example, we're taking an aircon out and replacing it with a new one, and we replace the cable and also the pipes. So we scrap the cable and we scrap the copper pipes. So they both get recycled.
Oh, brilliant.
So it's pretty good. Like
So now is it just like the whippy plastic that you have to put in the bin?
Yeah, the whippy plastic, and I guess just other general stuff from the day, which is
the smaller things.
Yeah, little bits that you can't recycle, but it's definitely much less. Like, and it's made such a difference in terms of like the tidiness. Like we've got the shed with all the aircon in it and all the materials and stuff. Yeah. And everything's just so much nicer, because there's like a foam section, there's a cardboard section, there's like, it just makes me happy. So it's very good.
So it's cleaner. Is there any staff that are a bit begrudging about it, or?
Oh yeah, I'm sure you've heard me talk about a certain someone before. The certain someone who doesn't put their recycling in their recycling bin, and they put their general waste in their recycling bin.
Hi, someone. How you doing?
We've had words. I've made him feel guilty. I think he's much better now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I will tell people off, like if because it's so easy to do. If I go back to the shed and I look in like the just normal recycling bin and there's something in there that I'm like, hey, I will pull it out and be like, who did this? No, this does not belong. Come on, we know better.
Brilliant.
Yeah. So it's the little things, and I think everyone's a lot more aware of the waste because we actually have to sort it now. It's not like it's just one big rubbish box.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's good, but like same thing with solar. If you were to get into it, I think this would be a different topic, but on the manufacture of solar panels, it's a whole nother ball game. But they obviously come with packaging too. They come with even more heavy duty plastic straps.
Oh, great.
Yeah, and a lot of cardboard. And cardboard's obviously fine. We recycle that. And there's this little component that we have to use that actually comes in now biodegradable plastic bags. Like they've got a cute little green panda on it and it says biodegradable.
Oh.
And I've seen, because we've had, a store of them for a while, and some of the bags are starting to like get a little bit,
Oh, a bit tatty.
Yeah, so I'm kind of like, ooh. I mean,
it's biodegrading.
That's exciting. I'm going to drop all of this stuff on the floor because the bag's biodegrading, but so yeah, I think the hardest thing is just being mindful of materials, because if you're doing a new install for an air conditioner or even solar and you've got to run the cables out, you can only really guesstimate. And sometimes you get to the end and you're like, oh, I've got, a meter more than I need. You might not be able to pull it back the other way, but you can obviously recycle those cables, but it's still a bit of a waste. So I think that's something we're working on, making sure.
It could have been used, but now it's just.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I feel like I rambled for a little while, but.
Well, I have a quick question.
Yes.
To do with the solar side, because in another life, about 3 years ago, just before all the lockdowns, I worked for a solar company, but on their design team.
Mm-hmm.
And so I learned a bit about solar. So half of what you say, I understand.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that the rate that solar panels and solar batteries are improving is just so fast. So I won't be surprised if a lot of people have older models and want to get newer ones because they are so much better now. And I was wondering if you know if there are recycling schemes or places where the old ones can go.
Interesting you say that, because we have actually done a few jobs which have been replacing existing systems. Either they don't work or the customer wants to upgrade to a bigger size because their needs have increased. If the system still works, we often list the panels for like a pretty discounted price because some people like to use them to go off-grid. And
yeah, that's cool.
Funny enough, if you're doing an off-grid installation, I don't believe it needs to be under a qualified electrician, or there's also tickets you have to have for solar for some reason.
Yeah.
Off-grid and I think caravans, but don't quote me on that because we don't do them. So a lot of the times people have bought them. I actually did get a call maybe a month ago from a company in Victoria who was saying, we found you online, you do solar, just wondering what you do with your old panels, we're a recycler. And I was like, ooh, cool. I was like, send me an email, send me your stuff. Unfortunately, they are on the other side of the city, but hopefully one day they might come closer to us, but it is an option.
Yeah, that would be cool. So if they can just drive over to you,
please,
it might be worth it for them.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm hoping, one day maybe the suppliers have the capability where you could drop off panels. But I can't really say too much on how it works, but I definitely know there are companies that do it.
I also just want to say how badass it is that you're a Sparky. Like 2 years ago, you were just like, didn't know a thing. And now here you are. And you're getting on the roofs and under floors.
Yeah. Oh, today I am so sore. I am so sore today. We did Monday, we had a solar job and it was a 9.96 kilowatt system, which is like the normal household we do is 6.64. So it was kind of like double.
Okay. So it's bigger, yeah.
So that was a big day. And then yesterday we started a ducted job, which was also a big day. And then today we had to go back and finish that ducted job. And I am so sore. I'm just so excited to like lie in bed because I'm like contortioning myself in the roof, trying to reach things and pull myself through. So it has its perks, but it also has its not perks.
I mean, it's a perk to stretch yourself out and stay limber.
Yeah. Sometimes like
something like that.
Even to be able to get over a roof beam, for example, today I had one leg over and I had to use my hands to pick up my foot to lift it over the beam because I physically could not do it myself.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so good times.
Gosh, I loved Tarek's stories about when he did all the underfloor insulation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just the things you see and the positions you have to get yourself into. I do not want to be there.
No, definitely.
To put it that way.
Definitely.
So good on you. Good job. They should pay you double.
Oh, absolutely.
Whatever you're being paid, double is in order.
I think
all
so.
I'm saying.
I agree. Yep, definitely.
Definitely.
But yeah, I think what you said before about, the technology evolving, it is true. And it is even just in my 2 years. For example, the standard panel size we used, I think, has changed 3 times. So in 2 years, the first size that we started with was 370 watt panels, and they were like a pretty good size. But now we're up to 450s. Ooh. So they've increased capacity and they're huge. Like the panels that we're using now are taller than me and almost my arm span. So like you can imagine me trying to lift them. I think they're like 22 kilos or something and they're so awkward.
Oh my gosh.
Some of the old systems we took off were these teeny tiny like 200 and something pedals and you could just like boop, pick it up, put it down, no worries. So now,
don't worry guys, I'll take this one.
Yeah, exactly. But it just means that the technology is getting better, which is awesome. It's getting more affordable for people.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And there's all the rebates and everything that hopefully people know about. I don't know a whole lot, but I remember people laughing about the fact that people in the UK have solar panels and because they don't get the sun. So
you can still get
whatever.
You can still get UVs from cloudy skies.
Good. Yes, you heard it here, folks. She sounded really certain about that.
UVs. You gotta get the UVs.
You get the UVs.
UVs. Yes.
The UVs and the turns into the watts.
Yeah. I think one more thing that is probably not necessarily related to my job in particular, but I think could be applicable to a lot of people is you bring your own lunch, but what do you do with the waste?
Yes, right, because you're always out somewhere new.
Yeah, so sometimes you might have, say for example, if you work in a shopping centre, you might have a recycling and a general waste. But some people don't have that option. Or say you're in an office and they don't have recycling. Like I remember at my old job, we didn't have a recycling bin for ages. And I was like, oh. So we ended up having an A4 paper box and sticking a thing on it that said recycling. And we just put our stuff in there. And I remember I used to take it home and put it in my recycling bin.
Oh, good on you.
Yeah. So I think in that instance, like one of the other guys at work, he has so many snacks. But he has so much waste. And I said to him, I was like, you should keep all your stuff for a week. You should just keep all your rubbish for just 1 week. And he's like, why would I do that? I'm like, well, you can see, how much waste you have. Oh, nah. I'm like, no, you should do it. Every few months, I'm like, you should really have a look at that.
Gonna try. Yeah.
Yeah. So like I take most of my stuff home. Like if I eat a banana, I don't put it in the bin. I'll take it home and put it in my little worm farm.
Your little wormies.
Oh, worm farm.
How's your worm farm doing?
It's
living,
good.
Thriving?
Yep. I did we're on a fairly steep block and I had it kind of tucked away somewhere. And I came out like maybe 2 months ago and I was like, oh, it has fallen over. Because I started with one layer and then I went to a second layer and I think the second layer just built up and it just went bloop.
No.
So I had to scoop all the wormies back up, put it in there, and now I've moved it onto a flat surface. So they're doing okay, but there was a bit of a scary moment there.
They've been a little traumatized, but it's fine.
Yes, definitely. But that's fine.
For you.
Okay, yes.
Good. I'm glad they're doing well despite that little hiccup.
But anywho, I feel like I've blabbed on for enough. Is there any other questions, or shall we go to your work?
No, let's talk about me.
Let's do it.
About me.
Let's do it.
So my workplace is in signage. We make vinyl signs. That could be a car wrap, it could be window graphics, it could be like the signage that goes onto a panel that goes onto a shop. All of that stuff, and everything in between. Like we can do business cards and yada yada. All the things that people want printed, turned into a sign. We do them. And honestly, there isn't a lot that's eco-friendly, sustainable about that. We did swap to eco-friendly inks, so like water-based inks, which is great. And that happened before I was there. But similar to what you just said about offices without recycling bins, we did not have
until you came along
an internal recycling bin. Neither this job nor the last job I had at the solar place had recycling bins.
What?
It's been up to me to like just designate a bin and literally just write recycling on it.
What? It's crazy.
At the current place, there is even a recycling bin outside, but because it's outside, no one bothers to take their stuff there. So I made a little bin, and I keep one near my desk, and there is now one out in the kitchen. I like go bin digging and correct whatever's happened.
You do what I do.
Yeah. Someone's got to do it, and it's going to be me.
Yeah.
It's 100% going to be me. I love my bosses and my co-workers. Bless their hearts. They do try to do a good job, but
sometimes
it's hard, honestly, knowing what to recycle sometimes. It can get really complicated. I still can't remember if you're meant to separate like the jar from the bottle. Sorry, like the jar and the top and stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I've seen some recently, like if it's a plastic bottle, the lid is sometimes different to the bottle. So people have like collected the lids and then put it in a different bottle. And I'm like, oh my God, have I been doing this all wrong?
Precisely. And I had that moment the other day. So we have a very big printer. So all of the rolls of media that we use, and I'll call it paper, which is technically not right because there's like nothing paper on it. It's like big sheets of vinyl.
Put a piece of paper on a shop front. It'd just disintegrate.
No, it'd get very wet very fast. But they come in these huge cardboard boxes. It's about 20 kilos. They're like 1.3 or 4 meters long. And I thought, it's a cardboard box, you can recycle that. But a chap came in the other day. He was like a salesman, and this is exciting, by the way, but I'll get on to what he was selling later. But he said that apparently because of the inks used on those boxes, they can't be recycled.
What?
And I'm just sat there like, are you fucking kidding me? I've been recycling these for 2 years. No. And now you're telling me I'm part of the problem? Excuse me?
What?
And it's not like the box says recycle on it, but it does not say do not recycle on it.
Exactly. You kind of assume. You're like, oh, it's cardboard. It should be fine.
Right, it's cardboard. It's meant to be my friend. It's meant to be the more eco-friendly version of a box.
Yeah.
And now I feel very frustrated and angry about the whole thing. But this salesperson was very exciting. So he came in saying that there's this new material in town and he's still got to go to some sort of conference, but we're doing the podcast now, so I can't wait. And apparently there is now a new media coming out that's meant to be 100% recyclable.
Wow.
And I have my questions, no doubt. But he said that the main material that goes onto the panel is recyclable and the backing paper is recyclable and the box it comes in uses the correct ink and is recyclable.
Wow.
And like the wrapping that everything comes in, like the roll in the box has a wrapper and that's also recyclable. And I'm like, oh my goodness, wow, yippee, hooray. And it's meant to be a comparable price as well, because if this product has existed before, it hasn't taken off because it's been too expensive.
Yeah, of course.
So I'm super excited. But the first question I asked was, is the laminate also going to be recyclable? Because all of this stuff has a laminate on top of it so that it lasts for a long time. And he could not answer that question. So he's going to get back to me on that.
He's got to go to the conference.
He's got to go to his conference, got to find out what's what. It still might be worthwhile just for the fact that the backing paper is recyclable.
Yeah, well, anything.
At least that's something.
Anything is good, yeah.
If it's the same price, great, good, at least I can recycle the backing paper. But it does take a bit of the hooray away if the main product isn't also recyclable.
Yeah, that's hard. I mean, I never really thought about that. It makes sense. Of course, things can't be made out of card or paper. It's got to be plastic because it's it's a
To
durable.
be flexible, to be durable, water resistant. Yeah, this stuff needs to be exposed to the sun. And the material we use, I think the guarantee is like between 5 and 7 years, and depends on what way the sun faces the sign.
Of course.
If it's in direct sunlight, it's not going to last as long. And that's just Australia.
Wow, it's so funny. Like, I love hearing you talk about this because I've never ever thought about it. And like how much signage is in our life. It's everywhere.
Yeah, we're surrounded by advertising all the time.
But I've never really thought about like what the product is made of or the process behind it. Like it's interesting.
I hadn't either. And I'll see it obviously everywhere. Like if I just pass a car that's got signs on it, I'm like, oh, that's one-way vision, or that's a print they cut, and all this blah blah blah. And there was even an eco-friendly shop that I won't name, but they've got like print and cut graphics on a window, and I look at it and I see like, well, that's a cool minimalist design, but I know that had to come from a sheet. And so everywhere that you see pattern and everywhere you don't, that was all
wastage.
That's all stuff. Yeah, so like all the bits that aren't there is then just put in the bin. And it looks cool, but I'm like, oh, damn it. Like that's just another thing that's not as eco-friendly.
Yeah.
But there just aren't that many options. And if you don't have marketing, like good advertising, like unfortunately your business can then fail and then you can't do the good that you want to do. So I understand it's really tricky.
Yeah, it is. And I think that's one thing that a lot of people struggle with, you know, trying to align their values with being sustainable in terms of the environment, but also sustainable in terms of living.
Yes, yeah. I'm okay with capitalism on the whole, but it does make it hard to live my values.
Yes.
When I need money to live, and apparently I can't just podcast.
No, or YouTube, or game.
YouTube.
Damn it. Come on, guys.
Come on, guys. Well, that kind of brings me on to your business, because you've got marketing to do for Retro Kitty.
I do.
Yes, I see you dancing.
You know what I just realised? We forgot to talk about what brings us joy.
We did. Well, I feel like it's a spoiler that maybe Retro Kitty brings you joy.
Yes. Well, I have been putting off figuring out my packaging and shipping options for a long time.
Yeah.
A, because I wanted them to align with my values, and B, cost. So what brings me joy today is that I finally took the leap a few days ago and purchased some items, and they arrived today, and I'm so excited. So I put a poll out the other day on how people would prefer to receive goods. Like if you purchase something online, would you rather receive like a compostable satchel, or would you rather receive a box? I love the idea of a box. I feel like it's a present, but there's some issues involved with cost. So obviously things in plastic or in compostable plastic, it's not plastic, whatever it is, cornstarch and something or other, are obviously more protected in transit in terms of weather, spills, all that stuff. Whereas a box is not necessarily. And if you have something in there that could soil, like if you got an item of clothing wet and people didn't realize that, you know, it could become moldy.
Yeah, so true. I hadn't thought about that with a box.
Oh my God, I've gone through so many different scenarios in my mind. In the end, a lot of people said that they would prefer the box, but I got both. I've got options.
Nice.
So I did my research on what was the best compostable satchel, and I ended up going with Hero.
Hero packaging.
Yeah, and love it. And oh my gosh, they have pink satchels.
Oh, well, no doubt that's what you got.
Absolutely. So I got a few different sizes, and they're really good, because the other thing that I had issues with was the minimum order quantities.
Oh,
because obviously things get more expensive if you order less, but if you order bulk, like I don't want to be purchasing a crap ton of stuff that might not get used. Like, so that's another thing that really put me off. I was really hesitant. And then I was like, you know what? No, I'm investing in myself. I believe in this. I'm going to put the money down. I'm going to do the right thing. Yeah. So Hero packaging, very exciting. Got those satchels, and I got water activated tape for the boxes.
Oh, that's so cool. I've seen it.
Yes.
So cool.
So cool. And I was like, oh, I really want fun stuff. Like maybe I could do custom. And I was like, no, that's so expensive. So I got just like a plain craft, you know, brown. But they also have this product called marketing tape. And yes, it was more expensive, but it's super colourful, very on brand, and it has little messages on it, and it says like, don't forget to snap this, or if you love it, please share, like supporting my small business helps, and that's all these cool colors
so
and
cute.
prints. So I was like, so excited. So I got that. And apparently they make compostable sticky tape.
Ooh. Oh, yes, I've seen that, I think.
Yeah.
You know what you could do?
Yeah.
You can get custom-made stamps. And you can get like friendly inks, like, and then you can do whatever you want on the tape or on the box. You can get Retro Kitty. You can get that logo made.
Yes. See, this is the thing. Like, I've already spent so much time on this, and I've got compostable stickers. I've got the water activated tape, compostable bags, cardboard boxes, and acid free tissue paper, and like all of the stuff. And there's so much more that I want, but I'm like, hold up. Like, don't go overkill.
Yeah.
Have it. It doesn't need to be excessive and crazy, but it can be fun and sort of still minimal. But I love the idea of a stamp. And I don't know why I didn't think of that. So thank you.
It's because stamps are on my brain, because that's something that I'd like to do creatively on my side. Like liner cutting. Have you heard of it?
Yes. I think I did
carve it. And I've got a whole lot of colours as well. So if you do stamp, then we can have a day and you can use my colours to stamp.
Yes. I'm pretty sure I did lino printing in like year 8 and I loved it. I can't remember what it was.
Fun.
It's probably something really emo and like cringe.
Yes. Well, I've got all these ideas that relate to the games that I love.
Yes.
And I feel like people love that sort of nostalgic thing anyway. So I'm like, okay, if I do this, then I need to source something eco-friendly to put it onto. So like hemp-based paper or even like a hemp sort of cottony fabric sort of thing. And use all of my eco-friendly paints, because it's actually kind of hard to be crafty and eco-friendly at the same time.
Definitely.
Or at least you can look in op shops, charity shops, and like find things that way. I was even in Kmart the other day getting the Soda Stream refills, and they had a little craft section, and it was really hard to walk past it. Like there were some things on clearance, but it was only like 50 cents off.
Oh, right.
The regular price. So I kept walking. But I kind of might go back in and see if there's more clearance things.
Oh, yeah.
It's really tempting.
Oh, Kmart craft section is killer. Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard. We're strong women, but it's hard.
I try not to go in Kmart anymore because I know I'll buy something.
Yeah. Look, I've only been to Spotlight once and that was hard.
Oh,
they
Spotlight.
had a little bin of fabric and I walked away with one. But because it was like a tiny bit and I'm like, I'll do something with it. Have I? Don't ask me that. That's rude.
Oh, I love it. Honestly, I'm the same, and I've been guilty of it. I used to go to Spotlight all the time, and I would always go to the clearance section, and it was like, if you buy more than 4 meters, you get like half price off the clearance price.
Yeah.
But then I just hoarded. I hoarded fabric.
Oh, I bet.
I have nothing like plain. Everything's printed or like ridiculous colors, which is all good and fun.
Well, why would you ever buy plain?
I don't know.
That doesn't stand out in the clearance bin.
No, exactly. So I recently went through all my fabric and actually kind of sorted into things that I would actually use. And I've got them all in a tub. And I was going to sell them at a market a couple of weeks ago, but I got really sick. So I have to reschedule.
Bless you.
There is a plan. If not, I won't donate them, but I'll take them to, I don't know, maybe a school or something where they can do something with.
You know what? Some of them, depending on the size, or you could chop them up a bit more. You know, the reusable fabric gift wrap?
Yeah.
And like if you just attach like cotton ribbons to them to be like ready-made fabric wrap, they're really good.
That's a good idea.
And I've seen people make fabric like stockings and like the bags and that sort of thing. Yeah. I was really keen to buy some for Christmas, but then I realized I'm not even getting people gifts. There's no need to buy a sack.
Yeah, fair enough.
But they were so cute and so cool. So there are definitely things you can do with all the scrap fabric. Yeah. But also if you don't have the time,
well, that's it. You know, I feel like I need Hermione Granger's little time twisty thing. Just go back and do 2 things at once.
I cannot remember. I can only remember the Remember All, which was the other thing, which was the ball.
It's Neville's thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's Hermione's thing called? There's going to be someone yelling it.
Time turner. Yeah.
Time turner.
Sorry. Yeah, and she just like beep, 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 and then goes back to like attend another class.
Oh, what a boffin. That's what we'd call her.
A boffin?
Boffin. Like someone that's smart and like likes being smart.
That's cute.
It would, I mean, apparently it's terrible to be smart at school, and so obviously boffin's like a sad,
Rude,
bad thing.
No. It's good to be smart.
But Hermione's great, so whatevs.
Oh, but yes, there's plenty of things to think about, and I feel like I'm trying my best, and I'll learn, and I'm sure, people will suggest things to me. Hey, why didn't you do this? And I'll be like,
good question.
Yeah.
Like, that's very interesting. I have an answer. Just wait here while I run away.
Yes.
At least with things that you don't use, like any mailers that you're like, actually, I have no need for this size. I'm sure Facebook Marketplace.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Definitely. So yeah, I've got a few things to go through, which is very exciting. I just have to have the website going so I can use those supplies. Slowly but surely.
I mean, hey, by the time this goes out, actually, I won't say that because that's next week.
Oh shit, no.
A week or so from this day.
A week or so from this day. Have a look.
Check out, what would the website be?
www.retrokitty.com.au.
Love it.
Anywho, I feel like I've rambled a lot today. I apologize. Hit me with your little side hustle. What are you doing?
Well, my side hustle is Cozy Gamer Coco. That in and itself is its own thing. Like, I don't know if there's too much eco-friendly sustainability about talking about video games. However, talking about cozy video games is my own sort of like self-care, and if I can help other people relax, then great. And I see that as something that the channel does. But there's so much stuff related with the gaming and cozy gaming. Like, there's all the different sort of, forgotten what they're called, the little like bobble heads that people collect.
Yeah, I know.
So many collectible things. Like, there are like all of these custom keycaps and like all of these things to make your desk aesthetic or cute, or just like that hardcore gamer, like everything needs to be like black and red and shiny and blur. And there's so much of it now that I see people getting new ones like every single month, which is then not very sustainable. So I'm finding it really hard, A, to stay away from it and like be happy with what I've got, and B, to be like, if I do get anything, how can I do it in a sustainable way? And the best things that I can look at so far is like, well, I just need to get something that is a design that I'm going to love for a long time and that is going to last for a long time. Like, don't get the budget tech, get the tech that's going to last for a long, long time.
Yeah, definitely. And I've seen, so many YouTubers or gamers that have very aesthetic, very nice setups.
Oh, it looks so good.
And
I'm
you
very
see
jealous.
And you're like, ooh, I want that. But a lot of it is sort of knickknacks, and I think it's along the lines of like collectibles. Like, a lot of people have TV shows from when they were kids, or things that are super collectible, and I can understand the temptation. Like, I 100% get it. Anything
that I'm like a super fan of, like I'm very big into Zelda. Everyone probably already knows. I'm sure that's made its way onto the onto the podcast. And there are like TV shows that I love, and like Avatar during lockdown. I loved Avatar. So good. Not the movie. I cannot stress that enough. I finally watched
the live action,
I get it.
Or the blue people Avatar.
Oh, I'm sure the blue people are fine. I haven't seen the new one, but I'm sure that they're fine. Yeah, the live action version of the comic book.
Oh,
not great.
I have not watched that. I think I might hold off.
Yeah, you'll live a totally fine life without watching it, I guarantee you.
Yeah, good to know.
You'll live with zero regrets.
Very good.
It's just they just didn't do a good job. I'm going to move on from it. But doing all these video game things and giving myself time to watch other people and just kind of game and watch stuff and blah, 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 I feel so much more creative. I'm getting back into doing things like I want to do the lino cutting and making things with clay. And I'm sticking with those crafts that I know could be more eco-friendly, which also means when it comes to lino cutting, I have to be very particular about what I buy, because I'm not 100% on this, but lino can either be plastic or rubber.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. The whole word lino being basically what your kitchen floor is made of.
Yes.
Not particularly eco-friendly. And when I was at school, I think the traditional rubber is what we used, and that is what I'm going to have to stick with. To make it soft, sometimes you have to heat it up and like put it on a on a hot surface and that sort of thing to make it softer, whereas there are all of these really soft plastic versions now that you could use, and it like glides like butter, but I can't use that.
No, that's hard.
unless I got it secondhand or something like that.
Yeah.
So I'm looking out for all these crafty things. I bought lino cutting tools secondhand.
Oh, very good.
I've got a whole bunch of inks that my mum bought me from her friend that makes them, and they are eco-friendly. So that is great, but they're from the UK, so I can't get more in a jiffy. But that is going to be so fun, and hopefully I'm doing a good thing for the gaming community because so many of my designs are based on games and like Zelda things, and I want to do it as sustainably as possible. Probably come to you when it comes to time to actually look at selling and packaging and all of that stuff.
Hopefully I am a guru
So
by
I have
then.
not even thought about how to do that.
Yeah. But that's a great idea because I still feel like people in the sort of cozy kind of realm, I feel like they would appreciate handmade art and things as well as, you know, obviously have all the cute little trinkets and dolls, but I think there's really an appreciation for something that is handmade that is in their world that they love. So I feel like you got a winner.
I hope so. I hope that people agree.
Yes.
And I don't have a shop name or anything, but I'll let you know if I ever do. Right now, I've literally made like 5 things from clay, and I'm like, I'm going to make a shop.
It's you and I just have to turn a hobby into something productive or something that's going to make us money. Like,
it's like, I like this. Let's monetize it.
Legitimately. Like 100%.
But it does. It brings us joy.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to call it a toxic trait.
Oh,
I'm going to blindly ignore that.
It's fine. No, it's fine. It's great.
So before we wrap up, our friend Jenna actually sent a little voice recording.
Oh.
She said it might be a bit rambly, so...
Oh, but she's letting us play it.
She's letting us play it. If it does turn out to be too rambly, we can sum it up.
No, I love this.
All right, we have 2 minutes, 37 seconds of recording.
Yeah.
Okay, so sorry for the noise. I'm just on the street. But as you know, I work at Mutual Muse, and that sells secondhand clothing. So I think that's pretty sustainable in itself. But also I like to try and divert our waste to different streams. So if it's compost, I keep a little tub in the freezer and I take it home when it gets full. I also implemented a recycling bin and also a saving soft plastic bin for when we could recycle that. And I also put up little flyers around the place to remind people of what can be recycled. I also try and take electric waste home with me so when I go to the tip I can take it. We also recently took a lot of our clothing to Up Apparel to get recycled, like the things that are broken, get broken on the floor and such. What else do we do? Oh, so we also, if our clothing is in sellable condition, but we're not...
Oh, what happened?
Sellable condition, but we're not...
Sorry, it cut me off. So if our clothing is in sellable condition, but we ain't selling it, we actually donate it to an op shop. And I also recently donated a heap of really nice items to Inro, which you should check out Inro. We also give Von from Inro our empty shoe boxes as she uses them for her business. What else do we do? I also, any like old dried up pens or random things like that. You know, you can recycle, but a lot of people don't. I try and save them and find ways to recycle them. So I often give a lot of our stuff to Banish. And also I encourage people to bring in their empty makeup bottles and stuff, and I recycle that with Banish and with other facilities as well. We also, at one point, I want to implement it again, but at one point we had a little box where we would put like our old like makeup or things we didn't use around the house, like maybe it was some cream we didn't use for our face or some conditioner we didn't like.
All right.
Oh, cut off again.
Oh, it keeps cutting me off. So if there's something we don't use around the house, we put in a little box and we let other people take it if needed. We also have coffee cups out the back, like mugs and such, and we encourage people when they're going to get a coffee or something to take one of the mugs instead of getting a disposable cup. We wash them up at the back. I think that is everything from my memory right now. Yeah, I try and be sustainable as possible and divert waste into as appropriate streams as much as I possibly can. Obviously, it's not always doable, but I try my hardest.
Oh, you're so amazing.
So cute,
That's
Jenna.
a lot. Go, Jenna.
Good job.
And thank you for sharing.
Always surprised.
Damn. No, I'm not at all. But
the ironic minimalist over here.
Yes.
Being minimal and sustainable. Yes, Jenna works at Mutual Muse, which is, I guess, like a secondhand shop in the city, but they're specific about what they take. They sort of collect things, collect things.
You know what's actually funny? Yeah. They popped up as a sponsored ad the other day, and I was like, I don't know why you need to be sponsored because I already know about you.
Yeah, you're already great.
I looked at their website, and they actually, I think they've got 2 stores, and one store said that they prefer like a feminine aesthetic, but the other store takes all clothing as long as it's obviously in good, clean condition. And I think there's certain brands that they don't take as well, which is fair enough because I feel like there's definitely some...
like they won't take Cotton On or...
Shein. That was Shein, by the way.
I was like, was there a glitch in the nature? What was that?
I glitched.
Yeah. No Shein. No. What's the one that... Why can't... I mean, H&M. Thinking of? Can you tell me what I'm thinking of, please?
Don't know.
You know what? I'm wearing it
Uniqlo?
right now. No. Zara. There we go. This top is the last thing that I ever bought in a Zara, and it was $3 or something. It was like 80% off.
Holy freaking moly.
And I bought it 5-6 years ago.
Wow. That's pretty good.
I love it. It's
Still
great
going
top.
strong. Yeah, $3. That means your dollar value per wear is like... I don't even know. Not even a cent anymore.
Yeah,
it's free.
Tiny. There was honestly probably a 2-year phase where I wore this every week. Yeah. So yeah, I've got my money out of this piece of clothes, that's for sure. But yeah, they will not take Zara or most of the sort of common, not as good of a quality stuff. Yeah,
definitely.
I can use words. They were. Me too. That was a full-on sentence.
Things and words and stuff.
Well, that's probably because we're coming up to the end of the podcast and our brains have stopped working. I feel like we did some good words.
I think we did some good words too. I think we had a good combination of good words.
Yeah, I agree. I concur.
Well, that was a good word.
Concur?
Concur.
Nice. Yeah. I concur.
Damn.
Hooray.
Wonderful. And obviously, as always, we would love it if you guys are interactive with us. And if you have any things that you do in your workplace or things that you would like to do, please hit us up because we can definitely do another episode on all that good stuff.
Would love it.
Alrighty, everybody. Thanks, everyone, so much for listening. If you enjoyed today's show, we would love it if you could leave us a review wherever you're listening to this podcast. You can follow the podcast on Instagram at greengirls.podcast. You can follow Chloe on Instagram at BeKindCoco and...
Cozy Emma Coco for all your cozy gaming needs.
Thank you. And you can follow myself, Mikaela, on Instagram at Mikaela Hoffman or at Retro Kitty Vintage. If you would like to support us, you can join our Patreon and receive ad-free, extra rambly episodes, or you can buy us a coffee. That is all, folks. Look out for new episodes every other Wednesday because on Wednesdays we podcast. And until next time, remember, it doesn't matter if you take it slow, it matters that you take a step. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, 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 bye.